What is going on, guys? It's your boy Killer Cam back with my WrestleMania review series. Today we are talking about WrestleMania 3, the first really good WrestleMania. Now I want you guys to stick around at the end of the video to see what I think are pros and cons of the event. Everything that I think is really good about the show. Um, but this event, like I said, took place March 29th, 1987 in the Pontiac Silverdome. Allegedly, there were 93,000 people in attendance, but the this was a crucial event in history because it was the first really good one. Like I said, 1 was bad, 2 was bad, 3 was good. But the show opened up, Aretha Franklin sang America the Beautiful, one of the best renditions I think I've seen. The Can-Am Connection, so Rick the Martyr Martel and Tom Zink defeated Bob Orton and the Magnificent Muraco. I gave this match 2 out of 5 stars. These guys opened up the show with a decent contest. It was 4 guys that really, the heels didn't work over one of the faces for a long stretch. It was a short match. The crowd loved everything that the Can-Am Connection did. So it was the right call as far as opening match. Next up, you had Hercules take on Billy Jack Haynes. This match ended in a double count out. The story here was who could do the better full Nelson. And like I said, it ended up in a double count out. Yep. Really nothing here to see. Like I said, I gave it about a star and I think 3/4. It was a decent power match. Really never got into the next gear. Post-match was a big story. Hercules didn't win the match, but he won the war. He would be around in the company for many years while Haynes was gone soon after that. Next match was a dud. It was Hillbilly Jim, the Haiti Kid, and Little Beaver taking on King Kong Bundy, Little Tokyo, and Little Lord Littlebrook. Little Beaver actually would not wrestle anymore after King Kong Bundy would hit him with the elbow. They would win by DQ. This match gets a dud. I mean, it was a fun little brawl, but it was really nothing out of the ordinary. It was really nothing special. So that's really the only dud I think I had on the night. It was really nothing too hot. Harley Race defeated the Junkyard Dog in about 4.5 minutes in a loser must bow match. JYD still ended up not bowing to Harley Race. Harley Race said he was the one true king of the WWF, and that's what he ended up doing. He ended up. Race did take some wild bumps considering he was in his mid-40s. There wasn't really too much in this match, but the finish was poorly done. It didn't look like a move that would put away a guy like JYD. In case you didn't know what the finish was, Race recovered. He hit a belly-to-back suplex, and that was it. I mean, that was the finish. Dream Team beat the Rougeaus. Another 4-minute match that was solid. I gave it, I think, a star and a half. They love to book the finishes where the ref was distracted and the heels cheat to win. That's exactly what happened. Next up, you would get the retirement match, allegedly, Hair versus Hair, Roddy Piper versus Adrian Adonis. And this match, I will not lie to you, was actually a lot better this time than what I thought it was. I always thought that this match was bad, but it was solid. If you're looking at it purely from an entertainment standpoint, though, the match was fantastic. Listening to the crowd, they were hot for every second. Adonis was a solid heel. Unfortunately, Adonis would pass away in 1988 soon after this event in a car wreck. May he rest in peace, as well as Roddy Piper. Piper showed the kind of heart you'd love to see out of a babyface, and really, people thought he was only 33 at the time, so I doubt many people actually believed this would be the end of his career, but it was still a retirement match nevertheless. Match was incredible. It was good, and it was really starting to set up a motion of matches that would be phenomenal. Hart Foundation and Danny Davis defeated the British Bulldogs and Tito Santana. Another great match. I think I gave it 3 out of 5. It was a lot of fun, a high-paced tag match. The Hart Foundation and British Bulldog seem to always put on a good match regardless. It's another finish on the show with a manager making a difference. Dynamite Kid, his back injury really limited him here, though. He was never the same kind of performer again. Meanwhile, for Brett, this was the first of what would be many good matches at WrestleMania, with some amazing ones to come down the road. Next up, we get to the first. Well, I'm actually going to talk about this here real quick before I get to the two main matches on the show. Butch Reed defeated Koko B. Ware. Half a star. That match really wasn't all that good. Honky Tonk Man defeated Jake the Snake Roberts. Decent match. I gave it a 1.5 stars. You'll see all of my ratings down in the comment section. But, those two guys, they had the unfortunate duties of following up Steamboat and Savage. And Iron Sheik Nikolai Volkoff defeated the Killer Bees by DQ. Anyway, another decent match. But this match was really remembered for two things. First thing was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy Savage, which is my first WrestleMania match that I give 5 out of 5 stars. There's going to be a couple of them that we review later on down the line where it's going to be 5 out of 5. But this was, to me, the first real, truly great WrestleMania match. If you have not seen it, go back and watch it at least once in your life, because it's really the first true high-paced match where they do a lot of spots and they do a lot of good stuff in this match. And the show just, these guys really just emulate what it was. It was 5 out of 5. They stole the show, and it's one that holds up, more than any match in the 80s and should be remembered as one of the best for any era. Both guys did an incredible job, especially with near falls. There were 20 different 2 counts in this match, and it was their way of putting over how much they wanted to win. And one guy would do this, one guy would do that, one guy would turn around. Steamboat actually ended up winning with a small package, and it was huge for Steamboat. Of course, Randy Macho Man Savage would go on to win the WWF title the following year. So I guess he was getting groomed to do that. And also, the show is remembered for not really the match, but the moment. And that was the main event, as you can see on the poster. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. The actual match, rated by Dave Meltzer, was -4 stars. I'm going to be a little bit genuine with the match. The match was only 1 star out of 5, but the moment itself you have to give 5 out of 5 because it was the first time ever really that Andre had actually lost. And, he picked up Andre and slammed him. The match quality really does not matter here. You have to admit that. It's not like there were a lot of great near falls. This match was all about moments. And in terms of memorable matches, this is on the top 5 of all time. And it's arguably at the top of the list. The body slam by Hogan on Andre was such a big deal. I don't know if I can put it into words. If you've seen the clip and heard the ovation, you know how much it mattered. And it was really just one of those moments to where it was really a truly good WrestleMania moment. That I thought, I really do think that overall this, like I said, was one of the better WrestleManias. 90,000 people in attendance. You had millions watching around the world on pay-per-view. And then you had, Steamboat Savage, which is still one of my all-time favorite matches. Monsoon and Ventura were fantastic on commentary. Probably the best performance I think I've heard out of a team. It's Steamboat Savage. Like I said, not many 5-star matches you can get out of that. Hogan and Andre might be the most technical of a masterpiece. Not from an in-ring standpoint, but from a moments standpoint. It was truly, truly a fantastic show. You'll see at the very, very end of the show what I thought about it. I'll have about a 2-minute span there where I give you pros and cons. But I'm going to give you guys 5 stars. The 5 performers that I think were the absolute best. Number 1 is Randy Macho Man Savage. I think this was arguably the best performance of his legendary career. Despite him winning the championship the following year in the tournament, I do believe that this right here was the best performance of his legendary career. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is number 2. It's definitely the best moment of his career in the WWE. Winning the Intercontinental Championship. And not too long after this, he would be in WCW. So this was kind of his last real big, good WWF moment. Number 3, I'm actually going to go with Andre the Giant. He put over Hogan in a huge way. Andre deserves a lot of praise for gutting it out despite his obvious physical limitations. Number 4 was the Hulkster brother. The pressure was on. He did a great job. 5 would be the Hot Rod. Roddy Piper. The energy that Piper showed was off the charts. The crowd loved him for it, as they should have. When I think of this WrestleMania, the 2 things I remember, like I said, are the 2 memorable matches between Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat and Hogan and Andre. I've seen both matches over the last 25 years. Well, on numerous occasions. The last 25 years that these matches have been out, they've been viewed numerous times. I've seen them a bunch. I can remember some of the spots off the top of my head. They are that iconic. They are that special. Both of these matches mean so much to the history, not just WWE, but the entire wrestling business. If you're to review the show as a whole, it's definitely a whole lot better. A whole hell of a lot better than the first 2. And it would actually be really, really good as far as the first 5 or 6. I mean, 5 was good, I think, which we'll get to in the next couple of installments. But really, it was just, I don't know. It was just something about the feel of this show. It was something really about the way this show worked. It had a certain charm to it and a certain appeal to it. And I think that's the thing that really, really makes me, mark whenever I see this show. Just the whole stadium and the whole arena and how beautiful it was and how, everything came across, and everybody was used right on the show. Hogan Andre made sense. They built for the match at Saturday night's main event. Steamboat and Savage made sense. Even the matches with, Hillbilly Jim and King Kong Bundy made sense. Hercules and Billy Jack Haynes made sense. Piper and Adonis made sense. I mean, and it was just, things wouldn't really get that much better with 4. They would kind of rush 4. 4 would be 4 hours long and would be a 14-man tournament. I always hated how they did the tournament, but hey, I mean, it was what it was. They turned it out and tried to make it the absolute best that they could do. It was all right. I mean, it's like I've said on numerous occasions. If you were to go back and to watch really any good show, this is the one to watch, and this is the one to really think about. This is a show that was the first real, truly classic WrestleMania, and it's one that I think deserves a lot of praise. It's definitely my top 5 to top 10. Going back and watching it this time, though, however, I did not think it was as good as what it was. Like, I thought maybe before it was like an 8 or 9. Now maybe I think it's like a 7 or 8. But it's got the phenomenal match. And then it's got Andre and Hogan. I mean, what more could you guys ask for out of a show? And, that's going to about wrap up this review, you guys. I'm going to be done talking. But for like the next 2 minutes, once the poster goes away, you'll hear the WrestleMania music. And then you'll see what I think are pros of the event, what I think are cons of the event. And at the very, very end, you will see my final grade of the show. Everything that I think worked, everything that I think didn't work about the show, and everything that made the show overall. But if you were to get my actual final grade, it would be a 7 out of 10. So many things done right on this show. So many things. And, hope you guys enjoy the next 2 minutes after this review. Because like I said, once I get to there, you're going to end up seeing the clip of that. You're going to end up seeing that. And you're about to see that within the next 5 to 10 seconds. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. As always, stay motivated. Love you guys. Peace. I'm out.